Hello everyone, welcome to interview preparation question, pharmacovigilance set 3. We'll be discussing about pharmacovigilance interview based questions today, which is of part 3. If you have not watched part 1 and part 2, please go and watch part 1 and part 2 of interview based questions for pharmacovigilance. So today I'll be discussing 5 most frequently asked interview based questions with their explanation and answers for pharmacovigilance. So these are my 5 questions. First question is, what is signal and how do you define a signal in pharmacovigilance? And the second question is, when do you consider a case or a ICSR as medically confirmed case? And the third question is, what do you mean by causality? So which we most of times we say that causality. So what is causality, or how do you define causality? So the fourth question is, what is valid case? What are the criteria involved in a valid case for pharmacovigilance? And the last question is, what is day zero or initial receptor date? So I'll be discussing about these 5 interesting questions. The first question is about what is signal. The second question is what is about medically confirmed case. Third question is what is about causality. Fourth question, what is valid case? Fifth question is what is day zero or initial receptor days? So without any delay, let's jump into the topic. So the first question is, what is signal? And how do you define the signal in pharmacovigilance? Now, a signal is defined in a pharmacovigilance, which is reported information, an adverse event, on a possible causal relationship between a drug and event, which was not been previously identified or detected, or it is not been listed. Then it is called as a signal. So now in a simple words, what is a signal is, it's an adverse event which is having a possible causal relationship with a drug and adverse event, and which is not previously documented or listed, or which is being expected. Then it is considered as a signal. So a signal in a pharmacovigilance is defined as a reported information on possible causal relationship, a causal relationship between drug and adverse event, which was not previously identified or which was previously unknown or incompletely documented. Then it is called as a signal. So usually more than one single report, usually more than one single ICSR requires to generate a signal. So it requires more information about the ICSRs to generate a signal that this is a possible potential relationship between adverse event and the drug, and which is not previously documented, on seriousness criteria of event and quality of information which is produced. So these are the criteria to define a signal. And GVP module 9 speaks about the signal management. So GVP module is good pharmacovigilance modules. And the second question, when do you call it as case to be medically confirmed? Now here case comes as ICSR, individual case safety report. Now how do you call, or when do you call a ICSR or a case as medically confirmed case? So now a case is considered as medically confirmed case if the case is contained at least one event, one adverse event, which is being confirmed or which is being reported by a healthcare professional, which is HCP, or it can be a physician or a doctor or a nurse or a particularly coroner, specifically in Germany. So in particular one country, there are some other HCPs which are being added. So one more interview-based question is, who is HCP and what is the importance, or what are the different types of HCPs you have? So I have given here the answer about HCP. HCP is physician, nurse, or pharmacist, or coroner, particularly in Germany, who works at the patient level. So now coming back to an interview-based question, what is medically confirmed case? A case which is being reported or which is being confirmed by HCP. HCP stands for healthcare professional. And who is healthcare professional? Either it is a physician or a pharmacist or a nurse or coroner, specifically in Germany country. And what is mean by causality? So now causality. So if you split the word, it's a causality. So whether the adverse event happened with the drug or not is called as causality. So causality is relationship between a set of factors, particularly relationship between the adverse event and drug. So causality can be defined or causality can be determined by some Naranjo scale or algorithms like WHO scale and Naranjo scale also. And sometimes it's a clinician who takes the responsibility of identifying the relationship between the drug and the adverse event. So now causality assessment is the relationship between the drug and adverse events or set of the factors which are included to define whether it is a possibly related, certainly related, unlikely related, or probably related. So whether the suspect drug and adverse event are related or not related, then it is called as the causality assessment. So which is called as causality. The causality is relationship between the drug and adverse event. Now, most important question, what is a valid case in ICSR, or what is an ICSR valid case, or what are the criteria for valid case, or what is the minimum safety information? All these questions will come into the same factor. There are 4 factors or there are 4 criteria to be considered as valid case. A valid case is considered when you have 4 minimum criteria. Minimum safety information is you have the 4 criteria in a case, then it is called as a valid case. Now, what are the 4 criteria which are being considered? The first one is there should be an identifiable reporter. There should be a person who has reported the case like HCP or non-HCP. There should be an identifiable patient, like identifiable subject by his age or gender. We don't give the name of the patient because it is a very confidential information as per the HIPAA regulations. We don't give the name of the patient, but we give the other informations like patient identifier, like subject IDs in clinical trial, or in market you can give about the gender or which location he is belong to. All those things can be considered as identifiable subject. And the third one is at least one suspect drug. One suspect drug should be there which has caused the adverse event, without which we cannot consider a case as a valid case. And the last one is an adverse event or adverse drug reaction or a risk or a problem or a drug related problem has to be there. So now 4 criteria. First one is identifiable reporter, identifiable subject, at least one suspect drug and one adverse event. Then it is considered as a valid case. So now what is a valid case? A case which is considered as 4 valid criteria. What is the minimum safety information? A case which has 4 minimum criteria like identifiable reporter and a subject and drug and adverse event. So all those 4 criteria will be considered as a valid case. And now the next biggest question, what is day 0? And what is IRD or what is initial receipt date? So these are 2 things which can be considered. One is day 0 and one is IRD. So the date of the initial awareness, the date of the initial awareness or the receipt date of a valid ICSR of a receipt of the case by a company or a sponsor or a MAH who is responsible for pharmacovigilance, then it is called as your IRD or day 0. So the date when MAH has received the information about the valid case, then it is called as day 0. It's not the day when the adverse event has occurred. It's not the day when the subject have got the adverse event. It's the day when MAH or marketing authorization holder or the sponsor or the company who is responsible for conducting pharmacovigilance has received the information about the valid case, then it is called as day 0 or initial receipt date. And here come your clock will start ticking, and wherein you have to report your timelines within a specific timelines. It's a start date of regulatory timelines for a case. It's a start date for regulatory timelines if the date within the pharmacovigilance department received as valid case information. So now this is what you call it as day 0 or valid case. The date when the MAH or the sponsor has received the case from where your time clock start ticking to submit the case, then it is called as a valid case or initial receipt date. And coming back to Clinosol, Clinosol is a training organization and recruitment organization. We give trainings on clinical research, CDM, pharmacovigilance, medical writing, regulatory affairs, and medical writing. And these are our stats for 2023. We have given 250 admissions, 141 placements, and 260 blogs, 98 articles, and 280 presentations, and 72 industry experts, and 19 MOUs, and 42 events, and 24 workshops. So these are the contact details for contacting us. We'll meet again tomorrow with one more set of questions for interview-based questions in pharmacovigilance. Till then, thank you so much.